Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I am filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that. And also apologies if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped. And hopefully it's not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel, and the first one for a number of weeks. And I do apologise about that. My plan over this past summer was to be relatively active on YouTube during the off-season and especially make videos about much older editions of the ESC, but sadly that never came to fruition. I've just been busy with other things. The motivation and determination hasn't necessarily been there. There's been quite a bit of upheaval and things going on behind the scenes as well, so I've been focusing on them. But now, as we move towards the end of September 2024, I do very much want to get back into things and make videos especially about Eurovision 2025, including what we know so far videos. There will be more of those moving forwards. I know a lot of other people online make similar videos to them, ESC Hayden, Alicia Michelle occasionally, I think. I definitely don't class myself a pioneer with that type of ESC content online, but moving forwards I will absolutely be making more what we know so far videos. And of course we must not forget Junior Eurovision is nearly upon us as well, so I will be making a few videos about that as well, even though they don't seem to do as well on my channel. Anyway, the point of today's video is simple. I'm going to tell you my 10 favourite Eurovision nations of my lifetime based on average placement across all of the contests in which those nations have taken part. To work this out, I have loaded up, I think it is the biggest spreadsheet that I have. It's called My Eurovision Grand Totals. On the left hand side in column A, all of the countries that have ever taken part in my lifetime. This does not include Morocco, but it does include Serbia and Montenegro, for example, plus all of the countries that do regularly take part. And then we have each year of my lifetime, 1993 to the present day, every single result, each country's best result is highlighted in green. Then we have a column regarding average placement, most appearances in the grand final in my personal rankings, most top 10 results in my personal rankings and top 3 as well, and then various other statistics to do with every year, including winners of semi-finals, where the host nation in real life finished in my ranking, where my personal host nation finished, where the real life winner finished, where my winner finished in the real results. You can see that it's a little bit complicated perhaps, but there's lots of numbers and statistics here, and I'll be going through some of them moving forwards, but specifically focusing on my 10 favourite ESC nations of my lifetime. Now, if you are a fan of numbers and statistics, this may be the video for you. Otherwise, you might just see it as a big old ramble for the ages, which on my channel is really nothing new. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I suggest you get yourself a nice warm drink. This is Irish coffee, bottoms up. Get yourself something nice to eat. I have this rather sticky cinnamon bun. And away we go. So, number 10 in my list of favourite countries at Eurovision in my lifetime is Ireland, with an average result of 11.33, 27 times out of 31 appearances in the grand final for me personally, 16 times in the top 10, 3 times in the top 3. Taking a look at this, Ireland has been my personal winner once in my lifetime. That was in 1994 in Dublin, early on in the running order. My favourite Irish entry ever, Paul Harrington and Charlie McGettigan with Rock and Roll Kids. This slow number, guitar, piano, absolutely wonderful. A real breath of fresh air. Even today, if that song was in Eurovision, it would stand out a mile. Really lovely stuff. Just taking a look at some other results as well. Ireland was my runner-up in 2009 in Moscow, didn't even qualify in real life. That song was Etc. by Sinead Mulvey and Black Daisy. Always liked it, bit of a pop rock number. Didn't mind the staging either. 5th place in 2014, that was Heartbeat. That also didn't make the final. 6th place in 2021, that was Leslie Roy with Maps. The staging sort of blew any chance that she had, but I didn't mind it. And then this year's 17th with Doomsday Blue by Bambi Thug, which definitely grew on me so much in the build-up to the Malmö staged competition, and that was the case for a lot of other people as well. So the average result, as I said a moment ago, 11.33. Ireland is not often a country for me personally that isn't a personal qualifier. Moving into ninth place, and this might be a little bit skewed because some of these countries definitely haven't competed every year of my lifetime. But number 9 is Australia, who debuted in 2016, of course, nearly a decade ago in Stockholm. I am completely talking shite because they debuted in 2015 in Vienna. They were the runners-up in real life in Stockholm, of course. Just taking a look here, Australia is my winner of the 2019 contest in Tel Aviv. That was Kate Miller-Heidke with Zero Gravity. I think I've said this story before. I think the song was released in January of that year, and I'd been out somewhere, and I came back, and I was really excited to hear it because I was already familiar with who Kate Miller-Heidke was. She's a great musician. She's had some great songs. Caught in the Crowd is a good one, I recommend that. But I came home and I heard Zero Gravity for the first time, and I thought that is probably going to be my Eurovision winner if she wins the Australian national selection, which she did, swinging about on the pole. And then in Tel Aviv it was more of the same. Fantastic. That is my favourite Australian entry to date. And then a year later, the cancelled 2020 contest, Montaigne with Don't Break Me. That's my personal runner-up. And then this year, 23rd in my grand final ranking. That was Electric Fields, of course, who didn't make the final in real life. So an average result of 11.2, 10 out of 10 in terms of appearances in the grand final, 5 times in the top 10, 3 times in the top 3. Number 8 on the list, as I take a bite of this rather delightful cinnamon bun. Excuse me. Very nice. I thought this country was actually going to be a bit higher. It's Iceland. Now, I do love Iceland at Eurovision. One of my favourite countries, full stop, whether it's Eurovision related or not. Usually quite highly ranked by myself, although in recent years maybe not quite so much. Iceland was my winner in 2003. The song that opened the Riga contest all those years ago, Open Your Heart by Birgitta. Absolutely love it. Would love to see her back in Song for Kepnim. And then Iceland was my winner again in Moscow. That was Johanna with Is It True. I'd love to see her back in the Icelandic national selection as well. And then Iceland was my winner for a 3rd time in my lifetime in 2012 with Never Forget by Greta Salome and Jonsi. Although 2012, my top 3 that year is really interchangeable. Looking elsewhere, Iceland was my runner-up in 1999, as was the case in real life. Iceland was my number 3 in 2013. That was Eyþór Ingi with Ég á líf, I Have a Life. And then last year, 6th in Liverpool, for me personally. That was Diljá with Power. But definitely in more recent times, Iceland hasn't been as highly ranked by myself. And this year was not even a personal qualifier. That was Hera Björk, of course, with Scared of Heights. So an average placement of 10.96, 25 out of 30 appearances in the final, 11 times in the top 10, 5 times in the top 3. Moving on, hopefully you don't mind me eating, I do apologise. Number 7, it's Bulgaria. Now this is definitely skewed, because Bulgaria is a country that doesn't compete at the moment, and when they did compete, I didn't always consider them a personal qualifier. So taking a look at this, 5th place in 2008, that is the highest ranked Bulgarian song of my lifetime for me personally. Didn't even qualify in Belgrade in real life. DJ Take Me Away, Deep Zone and Baltazar. You had the lead singer, whose name I think was Joanna, in this sort of red wedding dress style outfit. You had a couple of DJs, some guy doing a bit of breakdancing. It was all over the place, really. Quite repetitive, but I've always not minded it. And then number 9 for me in 2016, that was Polly Genova with If Love Was a Crime. In the top 10 again in 2021, that was Victoria, Growing Up Is Getting Old. That's a beautiful song. I preferred it over Tears Getting Sober, to be honest. And then, of course, nothing over the past 3 years, because Bulgaria did compete in Turin, but not a personal qualifier, and then weren't involved last year or this year. So the average placement is 10th, 4 out of 15 appearances in the grand final, and 3 of those appearances in the top 10, which is not bad going. Will Bulgaria be back next year? I don't know. I've not heard anything about it. I've also not heard anything about Hungary, but I suppose Hungary's broadcaster probably thinks that there are too many rainbow colours for their liking. As for moving into the top 6, so my 6th favourite country of my lifetime at the Eurovision Song Contest is Estonia. Do love a bit of Estonia. Would absolutely love to visit Tallinn. Oh, God, injected into my veins, dear viewers. I'd love to go to Tallinn for like 2 weeks and just absolutely soak up everything. Estonia has been a winner in my lifetime twice. 2001, the real life winner as well, Tanel Padar and Dave Benton with 2XL, and also in 2002 with Salena and Runaway. That was on home soil, of course, that year. But many, many other great results. 6th in 96th, 6th in 1996, 6th in 1997, the runner-up in 1998, that was Quit To Me with Mere Lapsed, lovely piano-driven ballad. 3rd in 1999, that was Diamond of Night, this very ethereal sort of number. 4th in 2000, that was Once in a Lifetime. 3rd in 2011, that was Rockefeller Street by Geteriani, who is just a few days older than me. 2nd in 2012, that was Kula by Oit Lepland, and I'm so glad that wasn't criminally underrated in the end, because it's one of the best ballads I think we may have ever had in Eurovision. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think it's a really strong ballad. Oh, and then of course, I completely forgot about this, Estonia was my winner again in 2015 with Goodbye to Yesterday by Stig Rasta and Alina Born in Vienna. My God, did I listen to the crap out of that song when it was first released. This sort of monochrome looking performance at the national final, and then at Eurovision it was slightly different, that single tear going down Alina's cheek. Tremendous. Next year is a decade. It's time they teamed up again, you know what I'm saying? My number 5 in 2016, that was Juri Potsman, who was last in semi-final 1 in Stockholm. And then this year, my number 7 in Malmö, that was Vis Minus and Pulug. Number 8 in 2023, number 8 in 2022. Long story short, the average placement is 9.285, 28 out of 30 appearances in the final, 20 times in the top 10 for Estonia, for me personally, and 7 times in the top 3. That is a remarkable record. I really hope this slightly tinkered with format for Ace Dilawal again for 2025 is really bang on the money and not a big crushing disappointment. Moving into the top 5. Yes, the 5th best country in Eurovision for me personally in my lifetime is Norway. 3 times they've won, 4 times they've won in my lifetime, which is more than anybody else, I think. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, 1995, Nocturne, Secret Garden, that is nearly 30 years ago when that song won, which is truly incredible. And I hope at MGP there's a little tribute to that song. Beautiful, very thin on lyrics, we're all familiar with it, it's great stuff. Then the bronze medal, for me personally, in 1996, that was Evighet by former winner Elisabeth Andreasen. My winner again in Birmingham, 1998, that was Altid Sommer by Lars Fredriksson, super casually dressed, having a ball on stage, catchy stuff. My personal runner-up in 2003, that was I'm Not Afraid to Move On by Jostein Hasselgaard, simple guy with sort of blonde hair behind the piano, lovely. My winner in 2005 in Kyiv, that was Wigwam, Within My Dreams. Can you believe that's nearly 20 years ago, that damn song, Heavens Above. Then there was a bit of a rough patch here, but my runner-up in 2013, that was Margaret Berger with I Feed You My Love, which is a great song. My runner-up in 2015, that was A Monster Like Me by Merland and Deborah Scarlett. That was fantastic, underrated in the public half of the results, shock horror. My number 3 in 2019, that was Kano, of course, or Kaino with Spirit in the Sky. My winner in 2020, Ulrika with Attention. God, that's a great ballad, isn't it? And then my runner-up last year, that was Alessandra, and my runner-up this year, that was Gotta with Ulveham, who in real life were bottom of the pile, disgraceful behaviour. So the average placement is 9.2, 30 of 31 appearances in the final. The only exception to this is Gurishanka in 2007 with Ven a bailar conmigo. That was a non-qualifier for me personally, and indeed in real life. 17 times in the top 10, 11 times in the top 3. That is more than any other country, I can tell you that much right now. Seriously impressive stuff from Norway, who I think in real life are generally pretty consistently good, except for this year. I don't know what happened there. Disgraceful. Moving into the top 4, it's the Netherlands next, my 4th favourite country in my lifetime at Eurovision. Twice a personal winner, including the year I was born, 1993, Vrada by Ruth Jacot. Absolutely fantastic, so charismatic, that performer, and so charismatic the whole performance in general. And she has performed it many times since, and it's great every time. My 3rd place in 1998, that is one of the great Dutch entries, Ed Cilia, who of course would co-host in Rotterdam in 2021. That's Hemel en Aarde, absolutely amazing. What else have we got here? It would be a while before another really fantastic result. My winner in 2014, The Common Linnets Come After the Storm, which is my favourite ESC song thus far. Number 4 in 2016, number 5 in 2017, runner-up in 2018, that was Whalen with Outlaw Rinham. My runner-up in 2019, that was Duncan Lawrence, of course, who won in real life. My number 2 in 2022, that was Steen or Esteen or S10 with De Diepte. My God, that's a fantastic little song. Bronze medal in 2023, that was Mia and Dion with Burning Daylight. Absolutely love it. Lyrically, really strikes a chord with me. And this year, my number 6. And that was Joost Klein with Europapa. Now, I was tempted to actually exclude that song from my ranking because, of course, in real life it wasn't in the final. But I did include it, and it's my number 6 of this year. So there you go. Average result, 9.153, 26 out of 30 appearances in the final, 17 times in the top 10, 7 times in the top 3. Moving into the top 3, bear with me, dear viewers. Denmark next. Ah, poor Denmark. For the past couple of years, I think they've been quite unlucky. Should have qualified really in 2021 with Øveros på hinanden by Firo Flammer. Ready in 2022, that was a great song that I think may become more popular over time. I don't really know. I actually saw somebody tweet about it a couple of weeks ago saying, isn't it about time that we appreciated Denmark 2022? Riley was maybe a tad underrated in Liverpool last year, and then this year it was Saba. And unfortunately she didn't quite make the cut either. But Denmark have had some cracking songs. Of that there is no doubt. Taking a look at this, the bronze medal for me personally in 1995, that was Ord Wilken. Lovely song, very low key. My winner in 2000, that was the Olsen Brothers, Fly on the Wings of Love. My runner-up in 2001, as was the case in real life, Rollo and King with Never Ever Let Me Go. Lovely song, sort of country in style. The lead singer, Sovereign I think his name is, in the green room, puffing on a cigarette as the votes were coming in. My runner-up in 2006, that was Twist of Love. Bit of an underrated gem, that, if you ask me. My runner-up in 2011, that's A Friend in London, with Mew Tomorrow, where he kicks that big inflatable ball into the crowd. My winner in 2013, Emily de Forest, who is a few weeks younger than me, with Only Teardrops, fantastic. I still think that's a bit of an underrated winner, actually. The bronze medal for me personally in 2018, that was Rasmussen with Higher Ground, fantastic. Sounded like it should have been in Game of Thrones or something. And then this year, as was the case last year, my number 12. So last year was, of course, Riley with Breaking My Heart, which I have gone off ever so slightly since then. And then this year, of course, was Saddle with Sand. 12th place. That's a little bit generous, maybe, but there we are. The average place is 8.185, 27 of 28 appearances in the final. The only exception to this was Lighthouse 10 with Soldiers of Love in 2016. 16 times in the top 10, 8 times in the top 3. We're nearly there, dear viewers. Take a wild guess at my top 2 countries. Number 2 is Sweden, the powerhouse nation of Eurovision. Although I think Ukraine and a certain other country will have something to say about that. My winner in 1999, that was Take Me to Your Heaven. My winner in 2010, The great Anna Bergendahl with This Is My Life. I cannot tell you how much I loved that song at the time and how much I still love it now. The performance at Melfest, at the Globen, and the performance in Oslo as well that year, everybody with the glow sticks and what have you. I loved it. Loved it. And there's nothing to it really. My winner in 2011, that was Erik Saade with Popular. And my winner in 2022, that was Hold Me Closer by Cornelia Jacobs. That's a sensational song. So 4 wins in my lifetime. That is actually tied with Norway, and I don't think anybody has topped that at all. What else have we got? 3rd place the year I was born, that was Arvingana, who are still going strong. That was Eloise. Eloise, da, 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 and so on. 3rd place in 2007, that was The Ark with The Worrying Kind. I don't know if they're still together, actually. It's about time they made a comeback. My number 4 several times. 3rd place for me personally in 2017, that was Robin Bengtsson with I Can't Go On with the treadmills, and he started backstage. That's a bit generous, but I don't mind it. Number 4 in 2019, that was John Lundvik. Number 4 last year, that was Loreen. And I should say Loreen was also number 5 in 2012. So I actually marginally prefer Tattoo more, which is interesting. And anyway, this year, number 13 for Marcus and Martinus. So that is an average placement of 7.548, 31 of 32 appearances in the final. The exception to this was Greta Thunberg's mum, Malena Erdmann, with La Voix in 2009. Don't mind that song, but if you've seen the results online of Melfest's grand final in 2009, it was all over the damn place. 21 times in the top 10, that's more than anybody else, and 8 times in the top 3. So the country that is top of the pile, it is, yeah, you know what's coming, Italia. Of course, I imagine this is the case for a lot of people. Now, of course, as well, Italy didn't compete for a very long time, so this is slightly skewed. But nevertheless, even if they had competed for all those years in which they didn't compete in real life, Italy would probably still be my number 1. My number 3 in 1997, that was Fiumi di Parole by Jalis. Amazing song. My number 3 in 2015, that was Il Volo with Grande Amore, which in all honesty probably should have won. It was that far ahead with the public. My number 2 in 2016, that's Francesca Michelin, who since Eurovision, she's been at Sanremo again and finished 2nd again with Fedez, because she's never won Sanremo, of course. She just went to Eurovision in 2016 because Stadio turned it down. They had a great song, by the way. And she's also conducted the orchestra at Sanremo. She is a big threat in every department. And it's time she tried again and actually won Sanremo this time, because I think she's great. I think she presents the Italian X Factor as well. Something like that. Wonderful stuff. Italy was my winner in 2017, Occidentali's Karma by Francesco Gabbani, who I have seen is rumoured to be back at Sanremo next year. We'll see if that turns out to be true or not. He had another song in Sanremo a few years ago called Vice Versa, which was amazing. He's also got so many other great songs in his back catalogue. Super charismatic. Probably the Eurovision song I've listened to more than any other in my lifetime. Occidentali's Karma. Amazing. My winner in 2021, that was Måneskin, of course, with Zitie Buoni. I think they're on hiatus at the moment. Damiano was at the MTV Video Music Awards recently. He looked like a young Salvador Dali. And then Victoria, who I think is great, she's been doing some DJing stuff. And she released a song a couple of weeks ago, and I've got to be honest, it wasn't my cup of tea at all. But she's going on tour again soon, so we'll see what happens there. This year, my number 4 in Malmö, that was Angelina Mango with La Noia, da 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 da, and so on. Average placement 7.5, 16 out of 16 appearances in the final, of course, automatic qualifiers. 11 times in the top 10, 5 times in the top 3. Now, if you are wondering who's bottom of the pile, in stark contrast, Luxembourg are, because they've only competed twice in my lifetime. Montenegro are right down there. Serbia are right down there, as are Czechia and Slovenia. Serbia do often qualify for me. Well, ish. They've made several appearances, 10 of 17 it says here. Was my runner-up in 2007. That was Molitva, of course, which is a sensational winning entry. But other times, usually in the bottom half. Serbia, if they're a personal qualifier for me, they usually end up in the bottom half. Here are some other statistics for you. Norway and Sweden have won the most times in my lifetime, 4 times each. Most last places, Israel and Spain, 3 times each. In terms of winning position, the most common winning position for me personally, 7th, 20th and 24th, 3 times each. A country in that position has won for me personally. As for the most common last place position, 3rd, 6th and 8th, and again 3 times each. I'm not going to go into details about how I work out the running orders in the final, because of course my personal qualifiers might not align with the real life qualifiers, and so my personal qualifiers have to be assigned a place in the running order of my personal grand final, and there's a whole system I use to work that out. So I'm not going to go through that now, and therefore some of the stats I will omit. Most semi-final wins, the Netherlands with 5. Most last places in a semi-final, Georgia and Montenegro with 4 each. And yeah, that's it. I don't think I'm going to go through anything else. If we go through the last 3 contests, there we go, and then I'll wrap this video up for you because we are getting close to half an hour. In 2022, Sweden was my winner, Netherlands was 2nd, Spain was 3rd, Australia was last, that was Sheldon Riley. Netherlands won semi-final 1, Sweden won semi-final 2, Bulgaria last in semi-final 1, Azerbaijan last in semi-final 2. The host nation, which is where my personal host finished in my results, so 9th place. Real life winner, 9th place. Then it is, what is this? Where the real life winner was in my ranking, 21st. That was Stefania, of course. 4th was my winner. So my winner, Sweden, in 2022, was 4th in real life. Then we have the real life last place, 24th in my ranking. And then the last column here is where my country finishing last finished in real life. So Australia finished last in real life, and they were 15th. No, Australia were last in my ranking, and in real life finished 15th. You can see what I mean when it gets a little bit convoluted. Anyway, last year, Finland, Norway, Netherlands, Serbia last. Finland, semi-1 winner. Australia, semi-2 winner. Azerbaijan last in semi-1. Romania last in semi-2. Host nation, for me personally, 4th. Host nation in real life for me, 11th. In real life for me, what am I rambling about now? And then it's 4th, 2nd, 16th and 23rd going across the other columns that I just mentioned. And then this year, Croatia, Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg, my personal last place in the final, which is a bit harsh because I don't mind that song. Croatia semi-1 winner, Norway semi-2 winner, Azerbaijan again last in semi-1 for me personally, Israel last in semi-final 2 for me personally, and then it's 24th, 13th, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 13th. So there you go. Maybe this video became quite messy towards the end, but that is it. That's my top 10 favourite countries based on average results within my lifetime, and it is Italy coming out on top. If you've got something similar to this, maybe you are a big fan of spreadsheets as well, feel free to let me know your favourite countries as well, based on certain statistics and things like that. And let me know as well if you also have lots of columns with data and numbers and what have you. It's a bit nerdy, but I definitely know other Eurovision fans are even nerdier than I am, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, of course. Anyway, that's about it. A big ramble there towards the end especially. Don't save. So, that's it. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I do have every intention, by the way, of filming a video about 2020, the Forgotten contest, because I definitely think almost all of the songs from that edition, they're not so widely spoken about these days, and it was only a few years ago. I don't know. It's the forgotten contest, of course. I might well make a video about that moving forwards. If you'd like to see it, let me know. Remember to check out the links in the description to my other social media pages if you so wish. The community page on my channel here on YouTube as well, because I do post occasionally on there too. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Hopefully the quality wasn't too bad. And bye for now. See you again soon.